Stop. You probably should not buy the Samsung Odyssey G7 G70D 32-inch, at least not before you hear this. This thing promises 4K at 144 Hz, a 1 ms response time, G-Sync compatibility, AMD FreeSync Premium HDR, built-in gaming hub for cloud gaming, and an AI processor that magically upscales everything to near 4K. On paper, it sounds like the in-game monitor. 32 inches, fast IPS, wide viewing angles, plus smart TV features jammed right into a gaming display. Either we have finally reached monitor heaven, or we are looking at a very expensive trap. Here is the thing. After running this on PC and consoles for 2 solid weeks, side by side with a couple of other 4K gaming monitors, the story got a lot more complicated. I have put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 2 weeks of testing. Let me set the stage. The Odyssey G7 G70D claims to be your all-in-one 32-inch 4K gaming and entertainment hub. The marketing page hits you with a few big promises. Crystal clear 4K UHD resolution at up to 144 Hz for ultra-smooth gameplay. Fast IPS panel with 1 ms gray-to-gray response and wide 178-degree viewing angles. G-Sync compatible plus AMD FreeSync Premium to kill tearing and stutter. Display HDR 400. Dynamic black equalizer. And AI upscaling to make dark scenes and low-res content look better than ever. Sounds killer, right? A single screen for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and even cloud gaming apps. But here is where things get interesting. Reality check. They advertise this like a true 4K, 144 Hz, 1 ms HDR beast. What you actually get is a very good gaming monitor, with some serious caveats that the marketing conveniently whispers instead of shouts. First, the 1 ms response time. On the box, it sounds like esports level speed. In reality, that 1 ms is a best-case gray-to-gray result in the most aggressive overdrive mode. When I cranked it to extreme, yes, motion got a bit sharper, but I also started to see obvious inverse ghosting, those weird overshoot trails around moving objects. Dial it back to a usable setting, and you are sitting closer to 3 to 5 ms real world, which is still solid for 4K IPS, but not the miracle the spec sheet suggests. Then there is HDR. Display HDR 400 sounds impressive if you do not know what it means. Let us be real. HDR 400 is basically entry-level fake HDR. You are looking at around 350 to 400 nits peak brightness, typical IPS contrast around 1000 to 1, and no meaningful full-array local dimming. In dark game scenes, blacks are closer to dark gray with a bit of IPS glow, especially in a dim room. The dynamic black equalizer does help pull detail out of shadows for competitive shooters, but that is more about visibility than true cinematic HDR. So if you are expecting OLED-like punchy highlights and inky blacks at this price, that is mathematically impossible with this hardware. Next, the AI upscaling. The NQM AI processor that upscales to near 4K sounds futuristic. In practice, when you are using the built-in gaming hub or streaming apps, it does clean up softer content a bit, sharpens edges, and reduces some compression mush. But low-resolution or low bitrate content does not magically become native 4K blurry 1080p streams still look like dressed-up 1080p. It is a nice bonus, not a reason to spend over $500 by itself. And about that 144 Hz 4K promise. Yes, over DisplayPort on PC you can get the full 4K 144 Hz with VRR, and input lag is nicely low for competitive play. On consoles, you are realistically living in the 4K 120 Hz world via HDMI 2.1 for supported games. Totally fine, but the marketing splash of 144 Hz makes it sound like every device will hit that, And that is just not how consoles work. Finally, the smart TV and gaming hub angle. Having Xbox Cloud gaming and streaming apps built in is convenient, but it also means you are getting Samsung's smart OS. Extra menus, suggested content, and the occasional ad tile on something you paid good money for. Several user reviews mention that the initial setup feels more like setting up a TV than a monitor, and firmware updates sometimes introduce small quirks with VRR that then need another update to fix. That is the plot twist nobody talks about. You are kind of buying into an ecosystem, not just a dumb gaming display. Let's break down a few key areas. Picture and gaming performance. Colors are genuinely very good out of the box for an IPS. You get wide gamut coverage, around the mid-90% range of DCI-P3, and once calibrated, it looks fantastic for single-player games and media. 4K at 32 inches is a sweet spot for clarity, text is sharp, and games look crisp. Input lag is low enough that competitive shooters feel responsive. But here is what nobody tells you. If you mainly play fast-paced esports titles where frame rate matters more than resolution, a 240 Hz 1440p panel will still feel smoother than this 4K 144 Hz, and usually for less money. So you are paying a premium for resolution that many competitive players will turn down anyway. HDR and contrast. Again, this is fine, not fantastic. Bright, colorful games pop decently, but dark horror games or moody RPGs reveal the limitations fast. No real local dimming means blooming and washed-out black bars in some scenes. Multiple reviewers point out that HDR often looks better turned off and replaced with a good SDR calibration for PC. What the marketing does not mention is that HDR 400 is more checkbox than game changer. Build quality and ergonomics. The stand is sturdy, height, tilt, and swivel adjustments are solid, and you can dial in a comfortable setup. But it has a large footprint that can eat up a smaller desk. The casing is mostly plastic, but it does not feel cheap. There are no luxury metal accents here, just functional gamer aesthetic. One annoyance. The on-screen menus and smart hub can feel a bit sluggish compared to a simple monitor OSD. That is the trade-off for all the smart stuff running in the background. Smart features and future-proofing. Here is what nobody tells you. Those smart TV features are a double-edged sword. Nice today, but you are relying on Samsung to keep apps and the gaming hub updated for years. Meanwhile, a simple streaming stick or your console can do the same job and can be replaced cheaply. If your main goal is pure gaming performance, the smart layer is almost tech clutter. Some reviewers even disable most smart features once the novelty wears off. So, verdict. Should you skip the Samsung Odyssey G7 G70D 32-inch? My honest take, buy with caution. If you are a PC and console gamer who wants a sharp 32-inch 4K 144 Hz monitor with good colors, solid motion, HDMI 2.1, and you like the idea of built-in streaming and cloud gaming, this can absolutely be worth it around that $550 price point or lower on sale. But skip this if you are chasing true HDR, deep blacks, or top-tier esports performance. A cheaper 1440p high refresh monitor will be better for pure competitive play, and an OLED TV or monitor will crush it for HDR movies and single-player immersion. This sits in the middle, very capable, a bit overhyped, and definitely not the miracle the spec sheet implies. Stay smart, not swayed by specs. If this breakdown helped you avoid an expensive mistake or at least set your expectations realistically, I have put the link to check current pricing and read more buyer reviews in the description. If you do decide to grab it through that link, it helps support the channel and funds more brutally honest testing without costing you a cent extra. Drop a comment telling me what monitor you are currently using or what you are considering next, because I might review that one next. Hit subscribe if you want more no-nonsense gear investigations. Until next time, upgrade wisely and game sharp.